Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something pretty fascinating, a surprising link between the food on our plate and the long-term health of our brain. And honestly, it might just change the way you think about your very next meal.
So our whole exploration kicks off with this really powerful statement from the source material. When we hear a word like dementia, we immediately think about memory loss, maybe confusion, things we connect with much later stages of life. But what if that's not where the story actually begins?
And this is the question that just flips the whole script. It suggests that the real problem starts silently, maybe even decades earlier. And it's not happening in our thoughts, but in the way our bodies are processing fuel. And think about that for a second. If the problem starts there, then maybe, just maybe, the power to prevent it is in our hands right now.
All right, so first up, let's investigate this silent warning sign. We're going to uncover the hidden connection between our body's insulin and our brain's health down the road.
Look, we all hear that sugar is the bad guy, right? But the source material argues the real villain here, the one running the show, is chronically high insulin. This is the hormone that's supposed to manage blood sugar, but when it's constantly cranked up to 11, it sets off this really damaging chain reaction right inside our brains. So how does this actually happen? Well, high insulin ends up creating a hidden mess in the brain. Here's a way to think about it. Your brain is like a busy city. All day, it's creating metabolic waste. You could call it brain debris. Now, every night, a cleanup crew is supposed to come in and clear all that junk out. But high insulin? It's like a citywide party that never, ever ends. It completely blocks the roads, and the garbage trucks, they just can't do their job.
And this slide just lays it out so clearly. On one side, you have the high insulin state. Here, you're burning sugar for fuel, and that brain debris is just piling up, hidden away because the cleanup is totally blocked. But then, look at the other side. In a low insulin state, your body switches its fuel source to fat. This shift, it reveals the debris, and, this is the crucial part, it triggers the cleanup process. The garbage trucks can finally get to work.
So, the big question is, how do you get your insulin low? Well, you have to deal with this stuff, glycogen. Just think of it as your body's emergency pantry. It's completely stocked with sugar for quick energy. But as long as that pantry is full to the brim, your body keeps insulin high to manage it all. And that means the brain's cleanup crew, it stays parked on the sidelines.
So the solution really is to switch your main fuel source, to shift your body from being what we call a sugar burner to becoming a fat burner.
And here's the goal in its simplest form. This isn't about some extreme, crazy diet. It's just about creating periods of time where your insulin is low enough for your brain's natural cleanup crew to finally get in there and do its essential protective work.
So how do we make this switch happen? Well, first, you have to empty out that sugar pantry we talked about. You deplete your glycogen stores. Once that emergency stash is gone, your body gets a clear signal. Hey, we need a new fuel source. And that's the moment it turns to its huge reserves of fat and starts burning that for energy instead.
Now, to make all this manageable, the source gives us a framework it calls the Keto continuum. It's basically a gradual, step-by-step path to making this metabolic shift, to getting into a state where your body primarily runs on fat. The whole framework is a 12-step journey. And that number 12 is pretty important because it really highlights that this is a process. It's about slowly teaching your body how to become metabolically flexible so it can switch between fuel sources without a problem.
Now, we're not going to go through all 12 steps, but this slide gives you a great feel for the journey. It starts with something simple, just reducing processed sugars. Then you move on to actively emptying those sugar stores we talked about. From there, you start bringing in healthy fats until you eventually get to a state where your body is efficiently burning fat for energy.
And that right there is the key takeaway. This isn't some rigid all-or-nothing diet. It's a continuum. It's a metabolic journey where you're basically retraining your own body. The real goal is flexibility, the ability for your brain and body to feel great and thrive whether they happen to be running on sugar or fat.
So we're left with this thought. The material we've looked at today strongly suggests that one of the most powerful tools we have for our long-term brain health, for maybe even preventing cognitive decline, might not come from a pharmacy at all. It might be found in our own kitchens. It's a fascinating idea that our daily choices are directly connected to the future of our minds.